Blocked. It was blocked, y'all. Oh, my God. Who got the ball? Did they fuck it up? Did we not get it? Oh, God. Oh. Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope you guys are having a good hump day, that this is the middle of the week, and that we can finally try and get over the hump of what has been a bad season. There's no other way to put this. Monday night was when you realize that it was finally over, and I will say that I had not looked at that clip until today. It's kind of like when I was in high school and I tore my ACL, going downfield on a punt. I'm outside contained, and the way the press box was set up, it was perfect angle for the camera to be on the kick returner. And I'm between the camera and the kick returner. I turn, cut in, the ball goes through the carrier's hands, and it's rolling towards me. And just as my fingers are touching the football, I get hit in my shoulder with my left leg planted. And I saw the video of it one time where my knee literally goes sideways. And that was enough for me. It's like, I don't need to ever see that again. And so that was what that felt like, honestly, seeing that, realizing it all wash over me, that all hope is over for this season. This season stinks to holy heaven. The question is, where do the Dallas Cowboys go from here? Do we continue to do things the same way? Or do we try something different? And that is the big question. That is the big question of, what do we do different? Because we've been doing the same thing year after year after year after year, and expecting a different result. And unfortunately, we have not been getting, we cannot get a different result doing the same thing. Unfortunately, Ernie, the Cowboys fan on Twitter, who is about as optimistic about the Cowboys, if not more so, than me, he posted this yesterday, and it's kind of crazy when you look at this. Dak Prescott, IR. Zach Martin, injured, and now he's actually on IR too. Tyler Smith was injured for a few games. Tyler Guyton can't seem to stay on the field. Cooper Beebe, who now has a concussion. Brandon Cooks, who was on IR and just got back. D-Law, who's been on IR all season. Micah Parsons missed 5 games. Marshawn Nealon, IR. Deron Bland started on IR, just got back. Diggs was basically at 50% this week, and we literally just got all of our secondary together for the first time. Kendrick's injured, and Overshown knee exploded. And I'll add to that, you lost Sam Williams out the bat before the season even started. Add to that a new defensive coordinator and a new defense. Add to that You didn't do anything to helping replace the 9 starters other than Zeke and Eric Kendricks. So Jerry seems to be now under pressure to do something different. After that game, you saw Jerry Jones lashing out about the punt block and literally sounding stupid that, like, why we got a punt block called? That's stupid. We should have just done the safe thing. What do you? They didn't really call a punt block. It ended up being a punt block. Unfortunately, the ball bounced the wrong way, and a guy who you never thought was going to be on the field, who just got called up, didn't know what he was supposed to do, and it bounces off of him, and you lose. And so I'm afraid that the special team coach and Mike McCarthy and the coaches are going to be the sole people that take the blame, that they'll be the fall guy for everything that has happened, for everything. When you have a roster that's very, very top heavy and very, very thin, and you lose your starting quarterback, you lose and don't have your all-pro offensive guard playing very well. When you draft an offensive lineman in the first round and he only plays about half of the games, when your game-changing defensive end misses 5 games, when you literally lose 4 edge rushers, and then the playmaker you have knee explodes, I don't know that you can all point and say that's the coach. I don't think that you can. This is a crap hand. This is, you're playing spades, and you got 1 spade on your hand, and it's the 3 of spades. And you don't have any face cards. Bro, you ain't winning no books. You ain't winning no books. In the meantime, it seems like Jerry Jones's hand is being forced, because it seems like Bill Belichick going to North Carolina could actually be a real thing. It sounds like what he's trying to do is go there, be a god, get the band back together, and set up his son as a succession plan to be the football coach. And also, if somebody wants to hurry it up, you got to make a move for him. Now, here's the problem I see for the Cowboys, and one of the reasons why I think Mike McCarthy comes back. You've already heard Ben Johnson kind of say, I need a front office and GM to work with the coaching staff and basically admit their past transgressions and so on. So do the walk of shame. And he wants $15 million a year. And Jerry Jones isn't going to do that. Jerry's not going to do that. He's not going to pay $15 million a year. He's not going to do that, people. So you have that dynamic. And then you start hearing the Robert Salehs. Is that a better move? Robert Saleh, is that a better move? No, I don't think so. He has experience, but it's all bad. Be it's with the Jets, which seems to be career killers for coaches and quarterbacks. But still, I don't know that I'm ready to say, let's get rid of Mike McCarthy, who's actually been really good with Dak Prescott, for Robert Saleh, who couldn't work with Aaron Rodgers. Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel had a generational talented running back. Great defenses, and been number 1 seeds in the playoffs, and hasn't done any better than what we've done. Losing in the first round, being the number 1 seed, and literally wasting Derrick Henry. So is that an improvement? I don't know. But it may be that Jerry Jones can look and say, well, hey, there's your reason why we suck, and give people hope and something else to talk about other than their their inactivity in free agency and building a roster. It's a mess right now. And we've got the Carolina Panthers this weekend. And if the Cowboys, here's the thing. I said that going into the Cincinnati game that was going to chart the course of the season, of the team, really. I said if you win, I pretty much say Mike McCarthy's coming back because that can sell hope for Jerry Jones for a few more weeks. If you lose, all the negativity would come back, and it has. All the doubts have come back. Now, if you lose to Carolina, that is the death blow for Mike McCarthy. I believe that will be the death blow if the Cowboys lose to Carolina. No ifs, ands, or buts. So I'm going to go to Rich Eisen. And as he put the blunder in an all-in season to do our walk of shame. Don't forget that
last night on Monday Night Football, where the winner would have a chance to make the playoffs. As I like, hey man, listen,
things go their way.
Things go their way. You never know. You take a look at their schedule, and you'd have to say the Dallas Cowboys were in that pole position of being the higher registered team. And hey man, that would be 3 in a row. And, they got one win over the Commanders already, and the Commanders are the team you got to chase down. But instead, a very different scenario for sure. As the Cincinnati Bengals finally had a break go their way. It was basically also a matchup between two teams that couldn't catch a break. And the Bengals might have been in the pole position of an NFL team that couldn't catch a break. I think I mentioned, was it on Overreaction Monday or this flagship show, sir? Chris Brockman, where I said that they were the greatest 4-7 team maybe ever. If you raise banners for 4-7 teams. Like, say, people in Ohio know it. Certainly Ohio State fans raising that best roster in college football banner. That's going to be a great ceremony. So
they're going to jump you.
4-7, man. With this team and this quarterback and that wide receiver, come on now. And T. Higgins and Chase Brown. He's no joke.
Yeah, he's good.
And 4-7, and sure enough, the Cowboys held that offense of Burrow and Chase that was been on tilt all season long, held them to 20 points and a punt with 2 minutes to go. And this is what happens, though, when you're 5-7. You have no margin for error. None. Zero. And when you add someone to your roster on the day of the game, fresh off of injured reserve, despite being a 6-year veteran in Amani Owarie. The punt is blocked, ball is loose, and you get, the 21st century of Leon Lett. Without the snow and without, Super Bowl aspirations on the line, but jobs on the line and playoff hopes on the line and season on the line, and the kid touched it. The Bengals took that break. 3 plays later, Jamar Chase's spin move, touchdown. And now you got your backup quarterback trying to score a touchdown with all timeouts left, but now you really have no margin for error. Now you really got to get going. And that's when you see everything come through. Maybe it's because the coach doesn't have a contract after this season. Maybe it's the injuries. Maybe it's just all the losing that this kid. Maybe it's the injuries that you have. Overshown gets hurt in this game. He's been balling out. Maybe all of that is what rests in Micah Parsons' head when he sees this happen. And you could see he was distraught, and he just couldn't control himself, and he walks off the field before the end of the game. Which you can't do. You just can't do as a professional player. Certainly when you are a bold-faced name in this league and you're somebody that everybody thinks doesn't want the coach around anymore. He could give Mike McCarthy as many votes of confidence as he wants to. The quote where he was talking about how Zach Martin is on his mind and winning for him more than the coach. All of that put together, and you got a Dallas Cowboys team now at 5-8, and you're wondering, where Micah Parsons' head is at. And after the game, he had this to say about his teammate, Owarie, touching that football, leading to the touchdown for Cincinnati, and now a 5-8 deficit for a Cowboys team that needs a heck of a load of amount of help from here on out.
I mean, I wasn't really
grasping what was going on. Nick made a great play, and then, I asked the ref, explain what happened. He told me that we touched the ball. It was definitely a huge momentum shift. I mean, we just caught a huge stop. We're going to a 2-minute drill. It's just real hard to you think to believe you can pull that game out from that situation. That hurts. It seems like we're paying a due that's not fair. I don't know if it's bad luck, karma, but in terms of the work ethic, everyone's working so hard. I mean, I think we really did well. We could have did a little bit better containing. I think we gave up some points, but, I mean, you tell me we hold Joe Burrow to 20 points and 2 minutes left with our offense, the way we was moving the ball today, I think we could win the
Rico
game.
was.
Hey, man, in terms of, because this is all that's left for the Cowboys. Finish up strong and see if you can save Mike McCarthy's job if that's what you want to do. That's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's over. You win out if they can possibly win out, and I just don't see how they win out. I don't. I mean, that game at Carolina
they're underdogs.
Is going to who Dallas is?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'm not surprised at that. Are you?
No.
Okay. Let's say they somehow get through that. Then Baker comes into their house where they're 1-6 this year, with one of their worst offensive outputs at home since their opening season in 1960 by many metrics. The Cowboys. Let's say they get through all that. You think they're going to go into Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is not going to want to curb stomp their season out? The Commanders, who might have to win that game? So it's basically down to, do you want to run it back with Mike McCarthy? Dak Prescott gave a full-throated yes, he does. Do you take a look at how hard they're playing and say, hey, if they're not quitting on Mike, why should Jerry? But that's basically what it is right now. The all-in campaign for the Dallas Cowboys is an unmitigated failure. Many different reasons why. At least Rico Dowdle's looking like a true running back of the future right now.
That's true.
Back-to-back 100-yard games. He's running with a style and an energy that, boy, the Dallas Cowboys could have used in the first half of the season. Would have quieted all the, boy, wouldn't have been greater if Derrick Henry was here conversation, which was front and center for good reason, because Derrick Henry was there helping the Cowboys off to a terrible start. And Derrick Henry is the avatar of exactly the guy that Jerry Jones didn't go get in the all-in campaign. And CeeDee Lamb is trying his best through clearly some shoulder injury that he suffered a couple weeks ago. Cooper Rush trying his best. Injuries are killing him. But that's, again, the whole point of the all-in season. We were saying the roster's too thin to succeed with injuries. That this team, how would it react under the pressure? Well, 1-6 at home is pretty dreadful. And the question is how does that affect everything moving forward with the coach? Because that's the only question left. And on 105.3 The Fan, Jerry Jones's weekly Tuesday conversation with a couple radio hosts who still have their jobs.
Oh.
Yeah. They asked the appropriate question of, what do you need to see from here on out to evaluate Mike McCarthy?
You're going to the inner parts of my mind this morning. I'm not so sure that I'm ready to go there, but there's no secrets in there. I'm just it'll have the benefit of a lot of years involved here doing this, both on and off the field, and doing it in other areas too.
I don't know what to glean from that, other than the fact that he's not going to give you an answer right now because there's nothing concrete to see. You know, obviously the team hasn't quit on the coach. You don't see that. You don't see that. Although Parsons did walk off the field with a couple minutes left, or with a with some time left on the clock, I should say. And again, 1-6 at home certainly doesn't help the man on the screen right there, Mike McCarthy. Doesn't help. Because that's the reason why you make the change. If folks like you, TJ, although you're not a Metroplex resident, but folks who go to the games and put money in the pocket of Jerry Jones and stand there 20 deep with their cameras and their phones trained on the players as they come out the tunnel to walk out there for a game. Are you sick and tired of what you're seeing and you will not countenance this team running it back with Mike McCarthy? If you find out after the season's over and it's let's give you 500 the rest of the way, and it finishes 7-10, and you find out with Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Belichick, who we'll get to in a second, other guys out there, and you find out it's McCarthy run back with a new 3-4 year deal, you fine with that? TJ Jefferson,
man,
resident Rich Eisen Show Dallas Cowboy fan. Are you fine with it?
I can answer your first question first when you said about the residents of the Metroplex. Essentially, you're asking, are they going to continue to go and support this team, right? They're absolutely going to. Fans are sickos. That's what.
No, I understand
So
that,
it's like
but you're avoiding the main point here. Is that will there be enough people to create the groundswell? That's what, and the groundswell is what causes Matt Eberflus to get the gate.
Yep.
In front of 35 million people making that decision
That's a
to
crazy
extend a losing
question.
streak to 6. You know, like that is what gets a coach got. So I've now allowed you to ponder the question long enough. Would you be fine if you find out?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, look, 12-6. He's done a great job winning regular season games.
12-5.
0 postseason, one postseason game.
Yeah.
So no, I feel like a change is in order. But guess what? Change ain't going to be in order, Rich. It's not coming. There is no change coming.
You think he'll resign?
I don't do that thing that Brockman always talks about, checking where the lines lay. But whatever the line says that Mike McCarthy's going to stay, I'd probably put my money on that, knowing how Jerry runs his team. We're not all in. We're not all in on anything.
Is this,
No,
is
we're
this
not.
your
We're
version
just
of me
half-assed.
saying I didn't want Juan Soto anyway?
No, because you did want Soto.
No, I'm saying is that you're softening the blow
I mean, look.
that you think is coming.
At this point, you want to talk about how you're numb about the Jets. I'm numb about this team.
Wow.
Truly, like I could
That's
watch
how I
a
am.
game and have no feelings. Like yesterday,
No.
cool, we were doing great. Oh, looks like we're going to win the game. And then we blocked the punt, and then a split seconds later, I see the guy get into a crouch.
What a season.
And I just went, oh. Because I
What
saw
a season.
Rich, you got to remember, guys.
It's your script. I know. You got the
Sometimes I
script.
know what's going to
know.
happen before it happens.
I can't believe the Cowboys got the special teams play that they needed, and then some
Rich, or can you really
We're snake
not
somebody
believe
they
that, though?
activated earlier in the day.
Can you really not believe it? That's my point.
I was pretty shocked. I thought that was kind of universal that everyone knows.
No,
If the
just
kick
get
is
away.
blocked,
No,
like,
just
get
get
the hell
away.
away
I
from
know.
it.
No, Chris, I'm saying, but the fact that it happened, much
Right,
like
yeah.
we're conditioned now when good things happen to the Chiefs, you go, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
moronic things happen to the Cowboys, I sit on the couch and go, oh.
Well, I mean,
How's it gonna get
again,
screwed
we just
up?
had the unfortunate bounce of somebody who's just off of IR, probably sitting there for 6 to 8 weeks, whatever. He was out since the 49er game.
I get he's
Just
chomping at the
chomping
bit.
a bit,
Wants
just
to do
getting back
something,
out there,
yeah.
and he's out there, and the ball's right there. He's thinking, I'm going to pick it up and run with it.
Yeah.
It's
But the Cowboy season is over, and all we need to know is what Jerry's going to do with Mike McCarthy, and that's it. I mean, that's about it. And at least you got Rico Dowdle. I'm just wondering if that's going to prevent you from taking Ashton Genty.
No, definitely not. And remember,
Okay.
I predicted Rico would get 1,000 yards this year. He's 200.
He's running really well.
Yeah, he's
I'll
playing
tell you
good.
that. It would have been nice to see that in September and October. You wouldn't have been where you were.
But you said earlier the
Would help
season's
Dak.
over. No. The season was over the second Dak's hamstring and his bone had
Maybe.
fallen out,
Yeah.
and they decided to separate. That was the moment the season was over, and it was pretty much over before that, if we want to be honest. So
yeah. The season's definitely.
We'll see how it all plays out for the Dallas Cowboys. The season is, in fact, over, and the
It
question
is,
is
in
what
fact,
happens
over.
with Mike McCarthy. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the road.
Shout out to Rich Eisman, and it's true. The season's been over, and I've been saying for, beating the Giants. Yeah, that's a feel good. We had a good Thanksgiving. We didn't throw up our Thanksgiving dinner, but to think that everything was hunky dory, nah, it wasn't. Yeah, it's not. This unfortunately is a bad team with all of the injuries, and Jerry Jones has a lot of the blame for what's happened with this team. And there's nothing we can do about it at this point except try and fix it for the future. And I'm afraid that we're going to be dealing with the same things that we have been. Alrighty, good people, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Peace.